automatically a confidence will come out of them saying that, okay, now I can solve all the questions. First mistake that a lot of students commit is, if I tell you to lift 1 kilogram of weight, you'll do this. But let me tell you how you can get almost accurate answer with the techniques of approximation. Hello everyone, welcome to Catalysis by Vedantu. My name is Pahul and I am an alumnus of IIT Bombay, and today's session I will tell you how to conquer physical chemistry. Some students love physical chemistry because it has mathematics in it, and others hate it because it has mathematics in it. Yeah, regardless of who you are, this session will be helpful in making your physical chemistry much better than what it already is. Now, before I start telling you exactly what you need to do in order to improve your physical chemistry, let's just first look at what are the topics in physical chemistry, right? And then I'll tell you which of these topics are easy, which of these topics are on a medium difficulty level, and which of these topics are extremely tough. So that'll give you a decent idea of what to expect from these chapters, and that is always helpful, right? So basic concepts of chemistry, which includes mole concept. Now the basic concepts are very simple, but once you get into the details of mole concept, then it becomes a little more tricky. So when you reach equivalent concept especially, then mole concept might become a little tricky. But if you solve enough problems of this particular chapter, then it will become very easy. Okay, so I will write that this is medium difficulty. MED stands for medium. Fine. Structure of the atom. Again, it's very easy once you study this chapter twice or thrice. But for the first time, it'll feel a little difficult because there are a lot of new things that will be introduced to you. So, because you're understanding these things for the first time, your brain will be like, what? So it'll take a little bit of time for you to understand the structure of the atom, and that's why I will give it a medium level of difficulty. States of matter. This is very easy, for sure. This involves a bunch of calculations eventually, but it's a very easy chapter. States of matter mein basically you will have to study gaseous state. 90% of it is gaseous state, and gaseous state is very easy. There are just set formulas, set laws. Not very complicated, but again, you have to practice physical chemistry, right? Now, the thing about states of matter is that it has been removed from the NCERT as such. It's rationalized from the NCERT, that's the word that they're using. But in JEE, even this year and in next year, it is going to be in the syllabus unless and until JEE explicitly releases a piece of information saying that this is not a part of the syllabus, we will consider it to be a part of the syllabus. Fine. So in board examinations, this chapter might not carry that much weightage for you, especially in CBSE, but it is of importance, number one, to understand thermodynamics and chemical equilibrium and so on and so forth. Lots and lots of further theory relies on gaseous state, states of matter. And also, questions directly will be asked from this in JEE Mains, JEE Advanced, NEET, etc. Unless and until those people explicitly say that, okay, this is not in syllabus. That has not happened till now. Fine. Okay. Then thermodynamics. This, I can say, is one of the tough chapters. Not because it's complicated to understand. To understand it is very simple, but it's such a vast chapter. You will be spending loads and loads of hours trying to study thermodynamics, and that's why it becomes tough. Also, there is a slight difference of sign convention between chemistry's thermodynamics and physics's thermodynamics, and that makes it a lot more difficult to comprehend. It is very simple, but to understand it takes a little bit of time and practice. Fine. Chemical equilibrium is the easiest chapter out of all of these, by the way. But when you jump to ionic equilibrium, it again becomes a little tough. Okay, so chemical equilibrium is very easy. It hardly takes 3 classes to study chemical equilibrium, but ionic equilibrium is on the tougher side. And then when we come to redox reactions, it is also somewhere in the medium level of difficulty. Lots of information in these new chapters for you in 11th class. Fine. You can take a note of this if you want. You can pause the video over here if you wish. Now let's come to the chapters of physical chemistry in 12th class. Lesser chapters, and all of these are easier compared to the chapters that you have in 11th class. Fine. So solid state is one of the easiest topics in my opinion. Very fun to visualize. Solving its questions is also a lot of fun. So solid state, you will enjoy it for sure. Again, it is a part of the rationalized syllabus of NCERT, so it's not in NCERT anymore. But in JEE 2023 also, direct questions have been asked from the solid state chapter. So it is important from the perspective of your competitive examinations, right? Then solutions and colligative properties, again, very easy chapter. Okay. Electrochemistry, this is on the tougher side. Okay. So it is somewhere in the range of medium to tough, but I'll write tough because there are some advanced things over here in electrochemistry, cell dynamics, etc., which take a little bit more time to understand. Chemical kinetics again is very easy, by the way. If you have done chemical equilibrium properly in 11th class, chemical kinetics will be much easier for you. Okay. And surface chemistry, again, I'll call it a medium level chapter, because it has a lot of information. It's not very difficult in the sense of being hard to understand. It's just got a lot of new information. So that's why it sometimes becomes a little difficult for you to understand in the first go. Okay? Getting the idea? So this is what 12th class physical chemistry looks like. Again, questions were asked from the rationalized portions in JEE Mains and JEE Advanced. So all the syllabus is important for us. Fine. So ये तो होगी syllabus की बात. Now let's try to understand where do we do the theory part from. See, first of all, in physical chemistry, theory is only 20% of your task. 80% of your task is about practicing that theory. So the first thing that is important for us in theory is NCERT. Definitely read the NCERT of all of the chapters that I've shown you. Now you'll be saying, sir, but few of those chapters have been removed from NCERT. Where do we study that from? Don't worry. NCERT for those chapters is available online for free. For example, if you go online on google.com and search for solid state class 12th NCERT PDF, the first link that you will get will be a free PDF from NCERT's website itself. Okay? So आराम से you will be able to get this online. Don't worry about it. Fine. So NCERT's theory is very important. You have to read it. Okay. And also solve the in-text questions. We'll come to that in the practice part. Fine. Now the second thing that you can do, which a lot of you will do, of course, is classes. The classes could be either offline, wherever you are attending them. Fine. Preferably coaching. School doesn't cover physical chemistry to the level of JEE Mains or JEE Advanced generally. If you're in a good school, then perfect for you. But preferably in a coaching, they will teach you better. Classes, you can attend online. You can attend my classes. You can attend any teacher's classes, whoever you like. So what you have to take care of when it comes to these classes is don't watch too many classes. Okay? यहाँ मैं पहले ही लिख देता हूँ.
Don't watch too many classes. Okay?
Why? Because it'll waste your time. Everyone's going to teach you the same theory, albeit in a slightly different fashion, albeit in a slightly different style. So stick to one teacher. Okay? That's what I'll always recommend. Stick to one teacher. Preferably for the entire syllabus, but if you can't stick to one teacher for the entire syllabus, I know it's very difficult, for one topic. So if you're studying solid state from, say, ABC sir, I don't know, just randomly. If you're studying solid state from ABC sir, then only study solid state from ABC sir. That's what I'm trying to say. Fine. Stick to one teacher for one particular topic. This is very important. And at the same time, people, what you have to do is take notes. NCERT is a notes banao, na banao. Not a very big deal if you make notes out of NCERT or not. But you have to take notes when you're watching the classes. Very, very important to take notes out of the classes that you're watching, be it your coaching, be it your YouTube classes, whatever. Fine. Notes are very important. This will help you revise the topics later on. Chalo. So theory ho gayi itni. This is enough. Okay. You don't need to do more theory than that. Physical chemistry is easy when it comes to theory, and you won't understand physical chemistry unless and until you practice questions. A lot of students feel like they should master theory so much that automatically a confidence will come out of them saying that, okay, now I can solve all the questions. That's never going to happen, by the way. Okay, you'll never feel complete by just studying the theory. You have to jump to questions to understand what you've studied. Fine. Theory के लिए इतना काफी है. If you want a supplementary book, Avasthi, you can refer to it, but again, as I said, it's not necessary at all. NCERT and classes, done. Step by step, I'll tell you where do you have to practice things from. First of all, again the NCERT. NCERT is very important for your physical chemistry practice. In-text questions and also the exercises at the end of every chapter, that is something that you have to do. Even the solved examples. Fine. NCERT, very important. Second thing, now that JEE main happens in so many seasons and so many shifts, every year you get like hundreds and hundreds of questions. Fine. So, the second level of practice that you should be doing is basically from your JEE previous year questions. Okay? You will be able to get JEE main previous year questions chapter wise online easily. You search for it on Google, you'll get it. Okay? Otherwise, books are also available for the same purpose. You can purchase a book if you like the hard copy feeling of it. Fine. So JEE main previous year questions, at least the previous 5 years. At least. Sky's the limit. This is the bare minimum that you can do. Okay. Then after this, once JEE main previous year questions are done, if you are practicing for NEET, do NEET previous year questions. Yeah, NEET doesn't happen in so many shifts, so you can increase the number of years a little. Fine. And then you should be solving advanced level problems. Cool. Very basic. A little more tougher. And those of you who are actually serious about getting the top ranks in the country, those of you who want to get into the top 5,000 of the country, let's say, you should also dive a little bit into some book. My suggested book would be a book written by N. Avasthi. Problems in Physical Chemistry, that will be the name of the book. N. Avasthi. You can take that book and start solving problems for every chapter. Fine. In N. Avasthi as well, there will be simpler problems, and then in the higher exercises, there will be more complicated problems. Try doing as much as you can. Again, this is if you want to be the best of the best. This is compulsory for everyone. This is for targeting the top of the top ranks in the country. Fine. Practice bhi ho gayi. Right? Practice is also done. A lot of students do these mistakes in physical chemistry, and this is something that you should not do whatever happens. Okay? Do not make these mistakes in physical chemistry no matter what happens. First mistake that a lot of students commit is they try to remember a lot of formulae. They try to remember a lot of formulae, but you know what happens when we try to memorize formula? We forget what's the reason behind the formula. We forget what's the explanation to that formula. We forget how was that formula derived. Yeah? So the reason, the derivation, the logic behind the formula is much more important than the formula itself. I'll show you an example today. I will solve a question towards the later end of this session with you, and I'll show you how students are just hell-bent on remembering formulae which are not even required. So, मैं यहाँ लिख दूँगा, do not memorize formulae. Okay? Do not memorize the formulae, understand them. A lot of students who are closer to their examinations, okay, when you will be closer to your examination, you will have a tendency to go and watch these one-shot classes of chapters online. That's fine for revision. But then in these one-shot classes, a lot of teachers will give out the list of formulae of that chapter. And then you will try to memorize all of those. As soon as you start memorizing those formulae, you're in a loop. You will get stuck there. You will not be able to do anything meaningful in physical chemistry once you start memorizing these formulae. You have to understand how they work. And in 99% of the cases, formulae are not important at all. Chalo. Then the second thing is doing calculations. Okay. How do you do rough work when it comes to physical chemistry? See, in the examination, you will have a rough worksheet with you, right? Or in board examinations, you will make a margin and do your rough work. So your rough work has to be neat and clean. Let me tell you why. Okay, in physical chemistry, it's very easy to do silly mistakes. I'm sure a lot of you have committed silly mistakes where you wanted to multiply the answer with 2, but you accidentally divided the answer with 2. So the answer that you should have gotten was 8. You got the answer 2, and it is one of the options. You tick mark that answer being very happy that okay, I solved the question correctly, but then later on you realize you've gotten a negative mark. Has happened to you, I'm pretty sure. Yeah? So people, what you have to do is make your rough work neat and clean so that every step of your calculation is visible to you. So that you can check your calculation just at a glance. And if you have a lengthy calculation, neat and clean rough work will make sure that you avoid silly errors. Okay? So instead of doing this, acha 2x okay equal to carbon and this, don't make a mess. Okay? Be step by step. Okay? Carbon equals to 12 grams, oxygen equal to 19 grams, total karenge, so on and so forth. So make the rough work a little bit more neat and clean. You might spend maybe 30-40 seconds more doing the calculation because you're neat and clean now. You're not rushing through it, but it will save your marks at the end. Trust me on this. Chalo ji. Next one, calculator. A lot of students do this, especially nowadays in online classes. Whenever you attend a physical chemistry class, you keep a calculator with you. You have a calculator in your phone. So when the teacher is solving questions, they'll ask you for the answer and you'll be like, sir, this is done. All you've done is just punch in numbers into the calculator, and that's the worst thing that you could ever do. Okay? Calculator kabhi mat use karna bhaiya, please. Do not use the calculator while practicing. Obviously, in the examinations, you won't be able to use the calculator. In Olympiads, it's available for use. I know calculations will be extremely difficult in physical chemistry somewhere or the other. But the more calculations you do, the more you practice, the better your brain will get at not feeling afraid of these problems. You are capable of solving difficult calculations. It's just that in the examination, when you see such a big calculation, you're like, oh, ye kaise hoga? Right? You will get rid of that feeling eventually after a good amount of practice. So solving questions is very, very important in physical chemistry. 80% of your time spent doing physical chemistry should go towards solving more and more questions. Coolio? Chalo aage chalenge. Chalega? Chalega? Chal pada. So now let me tell you where to do the revision from. First of all, you have to revise from your own handwritten notes. Okay, not from PDF notes given by teachers. I see these days, you go to a class, you're asking for sir PDF notes please. And every teacher is also saying, I will give you PDF notes. What that is doing is it is disabling you. Because at the end of the day, it's you who has to take the examination, isn't it? The teacher doesn't have to take the examination anymore. It's you who has to revise the topics. Yeah, the teacher can teach a topic in 20 slides, 30 slides, 40 slides. What will you do about those slides? But you can write those things down in just 3 to 4 pages. Take your own notes, please. And whenever you want to revise your chapter, be it before a test, be it on the weekend, be it, at the end of the month, you're doing like a revision of the month kind of a thing, do it from your own notes, please. Very, very important. And if you have not made notes till now, let's say you're in 12th class, 11th class, you don't have any notes, please find a studious friend who has made notes, take a photocopy and try to understand what's going on in them. That's what I did for the first few chapters of my 11th class. ठीक है? खुद के notes जरूरी है. Then this is obviously very important. Yeah, I give you a huge list of where you can solve questions from. JEE main previous year, JEE advanced previous year, N Avasthi, etc., etc. Now in one sitting, I'm sure you won't be able to solve the previous years of the last 20 years or 30 years or whatever. So in the first sitting, if you've done, let's say, previous years of the last 5 years, previous year questions of the last 5 years for a more grammatically comprehensive sentence. So if you've done previous year questions of the last 5 years, then while revising, you can do a few more. Maybe the last 7 years now. And also, in the first go, please do not expect yourself to solve each and every question perfectly. That will never happen. Questions have to be solved so that you get better at solving them. If in the first go everything is easy, then how will your brain grow? It's very obvious, right? When you go to the gym, if I tell you to lift 1 kilogram of weight, you'll do this. Okay, maybe not. But it'll be very easy for you to lift 1 kilogram of weight in the gym and no muscle in your body will grow because of that. But if I tell you to lift, let's say 10 kilograms of weight like this, yeah, then after like 5-6 repetitions, you will feel the stress in your biceps. You get the idea? Difficult questions equal to brain growth. Difficult weight equals to muscle growth. Everyone understands that, I hope. So you won't be able to solve your questions in the first go. So there will be certain questions that you've just left. While revising, you can get back to those questions. Fine? ठीक है? So revision कैसे करनी है? You can do revision via notes or via questions. So revision कैसे करनी है? You have to do revision via notes. Quick revision. Okay? If you take your own notes, revising a chapter will not take more than 10 minutes. I know, because I used to do that. Then questions, spend some time. Take 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever time is available to you, and revise via solving more and more questions. Okay, let's move to the next slide. I still haven't figured out, okay, getting better at changing the slide. So people in physical chemistry, one thing is you should know when to use approximation. Okay, I'll show you with the example when to use approximation, alright? But say, you have 4 options, A, B, C, D, as the possible answers of the question. If the 4 options are far apart from each other, let's say option number 1 is 10, option number 2 is 30, option number 4 is, 100 something. So if there is enough gap in between these options, you can do approximation. है ना? Because if you do approximation, let's say your answer comes out to be 9.4. So you can mark 10 as the answer. But if the options are like 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, 9.4, then you have to be very accurate. Then you can't do approximation, right? Getting the idea? I'll show you with the help of a question as well. And always take care of the units. In physical chemistry, we have loads and loads of units for the same thing. That's true in physics as well, right? Humans want to create boundaries all across the globe. People follow different standards. We in India itself follow different standards for different things. For example, if we want to measure distance on the road, we do it in kilometers, which is like the proper metric unit. But when it comes to measuring height, we hardly tell our height in centimeters or meters, right? We're always like 5 foot, this much inch, etc. Yeah? My height is 5'8", by the way. For those of you who are wondering, I'm sure someone's gonna ask that in the chat box right now. But anyway, point being that there are different standards of writing the same thing. The most common mistake that people do, degrees Celsius versus Kelvin. All you have to do is just add a 273 to the Celsius number. Still a lot of students make this mistake. Yeah. So have to take care of the units. Very important. चलो एक ना क्वेश्चन देख लेते हैं. अरे भैया क्या जादूगरी करनी पड़ती है इसके लिए. Yeah. So this is a very interesting question that I have for you. And once we solve this question, all of the points that I have discussed with you will become extremely clear. So this question is very important for us to solve right now. Silver forms CCP lattice and X-ray studies of its crystals show that the edge length of its unit cell is 408.6 picometers. Calculate the density of silver. Atomic mass is given. It's a very easy question. The only thing over here is CCP lattice. What is CCP lattice? For those of you who have studied solid state, it will be easy for you to understand. Otherwise, let me tell you right now. CCP lattice, you will study in solid state later. Right now, the piece of information that you should keep in your mind, okay, is something like this. Okay? What's going on over here is that we have a unit cell which looks something like this. This cell has some silver atoms in it. How many silver atoms? CCP word tells us that there are 4 silver atoms inside. Okay, inside this cell. Simplifying the information for you, because you will study it in solid state. This is not a solid state class. This is just for physical chemistry. I'm illustrating how to solve this question and what things to take care of while solving the questions. Okay. So 4 silver atoms inside the cell. Okay. Also, it is given that the edge length of the unit cell is 408.6 picometers. So the length of one of the sides over here is 408.6, 10 to the power minus 12 meters. Always try to convert things into standard units. Now over here, what is density, people? Density is equal to mass upon volume. As simple as that. ठीक है, कर देते हैं यहाँ पे. Let's try to do mass upon volume for this question. What will be the mass? Mass will be for 4 atoms of silver. Yeah, mass of 4 atoms of silver divided by the volume. Volume is how much? Volume of cube is equal to edge cubed. So ये आ जाएगा 40. I'll just write over here edge length cubed. Let's just calculate what's the mass of 4 atoms of silver. Mass of 1 atom of silver is given as 107.9 unified mass. This is atomic mass unit. Mass of 1 atom of silver is 107.9 atomic mass units. But people, we would prefer to do our calculation in grams, right? Because at the end of the day, I want my answer in grams per cubic centimeters or kilograms per cubic meter, something like that. So how do we convert unified mass into grams? Again, mole concept comes into picture over here. So one more thing that you have to take care of is the basic chapters of physical chemistry will be used in all the other chapters. So mole concept, you need to understand mole concept over here. So what's going on is, let's write it in a slightly different fashion. Okay. This is for 1 atom, but again, if you remember the mole concept, mass of 1 mole of silver will be equal to how much? 107.9 grams. If mass of 1 mole silver atoms is this much, how much will be the mass of 1 silver atom? Okay. This is for 1 mole atoms. Mole is equal to 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. So just divide by that number. Okay. Mass of 1 silver atom is equal to 107.9 divided by 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 grams. Ho gaya. Fine. Very simple. I'm going slow because I'm explaining the question to you. This is hardly... Whatever we've done till now will hardly take like 30 seconds. तो लिख देते हैं यहाँ पे 4 into mass of 1 silver atom. क्या आ गया यहाँ पे? 107.9. This is in grams right now, isn't it? है ना? This is in grams right now. Let's just do kilograms. Okay? Let's just do kilograms. So, I will get my answer in kilogram per meter cube, right? Because I'll be taking the length in meters. So let's just try to do in kilograms. Can I write this? 107.9 grams is equal to 107.9 divided by 1000 kilograms, right? Into 10 to the power minus 3 kilogram. Yeah, aa gaya. This is divided by the Avogadro's number, the mole, 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. Cool. Then we have to divide by the edge cube. This pen does not want to change. So edge cube will be how much? 408.6 into 10 to the power minus 12. All of this cubed. Now, this looks like a difficult calculation, but let me tell you how you can get almost accurate answer with the techniques of approximation. Okay, this is going to be fun. Now people, let's try to write this in a slightly different fashion, in a much more neat and clean manner, and you will see how easy it becomes for us to solve this seemingly difficult calculation, and I'll also tell you how to approximate it. 4 into 107.9 into 10 to the power minus 3 divided by, we know the units, so don't worry about the units right now, kg per cubic meters. That's very simple. So over here we can write 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 into, now I'll write it in a slightly different fashion. Okay, I'll write it like this: 408.6 into 408.6 into 408.6 into 10 to the power minus 12 into 3, that is minus 36. Cool. Now I'll show you how to approximate things. First of all, make sure you get rid of the extreme powers of 10. Okay, 10 to the power 23, 10 to the power minus 36. When you add these together, you will be left with 10 to the power minus 13. Correct? Now this 10 to the power minus 13 can be taken in the numerator. When you do that, you will write it as 10 to the power plus 13. Cool. And then when you merge these two together, you can write it as 10 to the power plus 10. Right? First of all, sort out the powers of 10 and write it at the corner. And don't forget that you've written it at the corner. Make it visible enough that you remember it. Now see what I'll do. I'll do another jugaad over here. 408.6. Let me write it in a slightly different manner. Can you see what I've done? 408.6, I've written it as 4.1 into 10 to the power 2. This is approximately 410. I've written 410 in a fancier way. It'll help me. Let's do it for all three of these. 4.1 into 10 to the power 2. ये भी हो गया 4.1 to 10 to the power 2. Now again let's sort out the powers of 10. Yeah, let's sort out the powers of 10. This will be 10 to the power 6. When I take it in the numerator, this will become 10 to the power minus 6. Isn't it? Ultimately 10 to the power is 4. Remember, you have that. Okay. Now, let's do more approximation. 4 cancels 4.1. Perfect. One of these, gayab. Okay. Now, people, this is 4.1 into 4.1. 4 into 4 is 16. So, this will be somewhere around 17, let's say, approximately. Again, we are doing approximation. If you try to do it accurately, you will spend 200 days doing this. Approximately 17. 17 into 6. How much is it? Huh? 17 into 6 कितना होता है? 102. 17 into 6 is 102. Let's just cancel. Approximately, this is a number slightly more than 100. This is also a number slightly more than 100. Cut those. Ultimately, what are you left with over here? क्या बच गया अपने पास? 10 to the power 4 kilograms per cubic meters. This can also be written as, if I have to convert it into grams per cubic centimeter, how can I write it? I can write it as 10 to the power 4 into 10 to the power 3 grams. I'm just converting kilogram into gram. 1 kilogram equal to 10 to the power 3 grams, right? Divided by meter cube. 100 centimeter equal to 1 meter. 100 cube centimeter cube equals to 1 meter cube. Very simple, right? 100 cube कितना हो जाएगा? 10 to the power 6, right? Cool. कितना बच गया ये? This is equal to 10 grams per cubic centimeter. cc and centimeter cube, same thing. You know what the accurate answer to this question is? This is the actual answer, by the way. Approximation got us very close. So now, in your examination, if this question comes and the options are 4, 10, 19, 32, then you can easily do approximation, right? But if the options are 10.1, 10.5, 10.7, 10.9, then you can't do approximation, okay? But in such a question, the people who are setting the examination, if they are smart enough to understand it's a very difficult calculation, they will give you options that are far apart from each other so that you can do some approximation, because doing this accurately will take a lot of time. Okay, so this is the technique of approximation. Fine. And you can use this in your examination, but carefully. Cool, people. And at the same time in this question, we've understood how important units are. From unified mass, we went to grams. Then we converted grams into kilograms, right? We took care of picometers. ये जो picometer है यहाँ पे, we took care of picometers, converted it to 10 to the power minus 12 meters. We calculated the answer in kg per cubic meters. But if the options are given in grams per cc, or if in your examination, in your board examination, or in your integer type, they have specified that this is the unit I want the answer in, then you convert it into grams per cc. Units. Doing the calculation in a neat and clean fashion. So many things to cancel out. If you miss one, if you miss 1 power of 10, the entire answer will be incorrect. Yeah. So all the things that we discussed today in this session have been clarified well using this particular question. Fine. So people, that is how you take care of your physical chemistry. Don't be afraid of it. Theory is very simple. Practice as much as possible and slowly and steadily you'll get better at it. Fine. Now people, if you have any important questions to ask me, you can leave it in the comment section down below. Also, just for the sake of fun, tell me what's your favorite chocolate. Okay, what's your favorite chocolate? Tell me in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this session, you know what to do. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button, stay subscribed to the channel, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Bye bye.